Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Today we have with us Ruth. Ruth, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Ruth. I am a former homeschooler. I'm in my 40s now, but I was homeschooled K through 12. So that was my life growing up. And now I just started Independent Education Network, which is a place for middle school students to learn and for teachers to teach freely and just tailor the education to the student.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Me in a nutshell.
So, we got to dive into the homeschool, like K through 12. Let's talk about it. Yes. What led your parents there? How?
Yeah. So my parents, they were really going out on a limb because my dad's from New York. So let me just back up. I am in my 40s now. So when I was homeschooled, it was a while ago. But yeah, so my dad, he's from New York originally. And so education is a huge component of his life, his family's life, and, the right education. And my mom's from Seattle, Washington. And so education was more of like, yes, you should do that. And you should also do what you feel like doing. But basically what led them to homeschool us, I'm the oldest of 5 kids. Well, we're all grown adults now. Yeah. But they homeschooled all of us, was basically my dad was finishing up his education. We moved to a small town up north in Washington. We were the only Black family. So my mom and dad were like, you know what? We won't be here long. Let's just not send Ruth to school for a little bit and we'll just homeschool her. And then we'll send her after we move out of Washington State. That never happened. So it turned into probably on their part, and they say homeschooling for just kindergarten ended up being homeschooled for all of elementary and middle and high school. So yeah.
No real game plan, just like
no, exactly.
Hey, let's go ahead and try this out. And then there were 5 of y'all. So how was it?
Yes, it was interesting. And I'll say for me growing up, I had the luxury, and I say it's a luxury because now that I've been a teacher in public education, I had the luxury of learning at my own pace. So I never was scared about math. I was never scared to read or write. It was just when I was ready, that's when my parents introduced the next subject. I mean, we all had the foundational skills like addition, subtraction, phonics, things like that. But they never pushed us beyond what we were comfortable with. And then once they're like, oh, this is your interest. I was very interested in science, still am. So I would read biology books and my parents were like, great, we'll get you more of those. So yeah, it was really a luxury. And I was able to learn at my own pace. I was able to really develop skills that I probably wouldn't have thought about because it was just, they really did take what my interests were and just run with that. So I did get a pretty well-rounded education because if I was too much into science, you're like, well, let's introduce you to something else. I'm like, oh, I can learn. So yeah, it was actually really, really beneficial. And it definitely led into why I ended up becoming a special education teacher because
Homeschool families. Homeschool Yo Kids Expo and Homeschool Beats Academy are teaming up to bring you a day of real support and real inspiration. Come explore curriculum and enrichment, meet trusted vendors, and connect with the homeschool community. And at our featured Expo stop, meet Homeschool Beats Academy and see how students ages 7 to 18 can create original music through beat making and production with parent-friendly guidance. Get dates and details at homeschoolyokidsexpo.com.
I could teach the child and not necessarily what I was like, in quotes, supposed to teach with public education, but I could really teach where they were at. Another thing I'll just say for like my siblings, they're all doing very well. But like my youngest brother, he didn't learn to read until he was about 11. So now looking back, I realized like, oh, he probably would have been in special education. But because my parents, they made sure he had phonics and things, it didn't click for him till he was 11. But he went from not being able to read to reading like Jane Austen in a year. So it's like those things that I look back and say, oh, this was really good for us. And had we not been able to learn at our own pace, the outcome, I think, would have been a lot different. He now speaks like 3 languages. So yeah, so I think that would have been a little different. Yeah.
What? Talk about learning at
So
your own pace. Do you feel like y'all
yeah,
were more
yeah.
on like the unschooling method, or do you like
Um, yes, and I mean, again, um, we didn't
or
have like a set
Montessori?
more,
Like, 'cause
yeah, kind of more like
Yeah,
Montessori.
Montessori is like,
Yeah, more like
child
Montessori.
led. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was because we did school every day. It wasn't like a strict schedule because there's five of us, so that's hard to manage. And there's an 11-year gap,
Right?
like age spread between us, me and the youngest, who's in his 30s now. So I'm just like, I guess we're not little, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, it was definitely there was structure, but it wasn't traditional. So yeah, it wasn't traditional structure. But it was actually kind of more what you do in adult life. So you have to manage your time if you want to do things and priorities. And so that's what we learned from a young age. So
Did they
yeah,
utilize any program? Did y'all do any kind of,
yeah,
because we talking, like you say,
it's
you in your
hard.
40s, so
Yes, I know. Back then they didn't have. I mean,
they
they
didn't
had
have a lot of
curriculums,
things.
but
Homeschool families, are you ready to refresh your plans for the year? Join us at the Homeschool Yo Kids Expo. Meet curriculum and enrichment vendors, discover new programs, and connect with a community that gets it, all in one place. Come with questions, leave with real options. Get event details and register now at homeschoolyokidsexpo.com. That's homeschoolyokidsexpo.com.
so my mom was very resourceful, and because my dad was in college for, finishing up his degree when I was in early elementary school, they had access to like this college university library. And then my mom, she was resourceful. She found other homeschoolers in the area that we lived in. But then she'd also just find she did a lot of that research on her own, like without the internet, because it wasn't really there back then.
Right.
So she would go to, because a lot of the local school district would have like a yearly, I guess, like buy up the curriculum or something. I don't really know. But I remember going there and she's like, we're going to go do this. And so every year she would go to the local school district during their fair. I don't know how she found out about it, and then get, their old curriculum, look through it. I remember her looking through it, and there would just be books of old books. And she just would always tell me, math is something that never gets old. So yes, these textbooks are old, but the content is not. So she would just tell us that. And then same for reading and phonics. For phonics, she actually, and again, without the internet, she was very resourceful. She struggled in school herself. She was in public education, struggled. So she just said, I remember her telling me, I want my kids to be able to read. So talking to her now as an adult, she actually found a phonics program. And I didn't realize she wasn't the best reader when I was younger. I just, she's my mom, but she wasn't. So she actually taught herself phonics with a program that I don't know how she found it. And then she used that to teach us. So she was like, no, I learned how to read when I realized I was going to have to homeschool you. She could read, but it wasn't, she said my reading wasn't great. It really wasn't.
Girl, your mama is a testimony.
She is. so she, yeah.
You talk to parents now, and they're so like, oh, no, I can never homeschool my kids. I don't know enough for that. Your mama could barely read and was like, okay, let me do this. Let me figure this out because I'm about to homeschool my babies. Girl, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
She did. And it was, looking back, I'm like, wow, she's really amazing. My dad would totally support her, but, it was just like, yeah, we'll do whatever we need to do. So she basically taught herself phonics. I remember her staying up at night and she'd go through this phonics course. And I was probably about 5. I said, well, is it my turn yet? And she's like, not yet. Because, now talking to her again, it's because she's like, no, I was going through the lesson and trying to understand, like, what is this? What is this? How do these words go together? And there was an audio tape accompanied it. And so that's how I learned to read. That's how I learned phonics. And so the same with math. She's like, my math skills weren't great. She's like, I could rely on your dad for that, but still I wanted to learn. So yeah, she went through and learned all those things and then would teach us. And then,
that is so amazing.
So, but it paid off.
That is so amazing. So, I know. Look really at you. Did. Yes. Okay. So at any point through your K-12, did you want to go to public school?
I did every single year. And it just didn't, every single year it was a discussion and it never happened. My parents were just like, part of it was the community we lived in. It was early 90s, late 80s. 80s, early 90s. And it wasn't, I mean, looking back, I'm like, it probably wasn't the safest for me because I would have been the only student of color in the whole school.
Oh, and
wow. So it was a very, at the time, it was not a very diverse.
Because this was in Washington.
Location. It was, up north.
Okay.
Up north, like north of Seattle. So it was not the most diverse. I had friends, like in the neighborhood, but they're just like, and now, you know, looking at becoming a teacher and going through that, I'm like, yeah, they actually made the right decision. And if we had moved, it would have been different. But I'm just like, yeah, they did. But yeah, every year I wanted to go to school every single year. So for middle school, we actually ended up, again, I don't know how my mom found out about this. It must have been like an advertisement, I think in a newspaper or something. But for middle school, we started Internet Academy, which was one of the first online schools. We didn't have Zoom back then or anything. So it was all email, phone, if you really needed to call your teacher. And then they'd have the website, you know, really simple websites of like your lesson, your assignment, and then you'd email it in. But that was through one of the school districts down in King County. They had started the program. They're still going on. So we did that through middle school. And that was really helpful because my mom and my dad at that time were like, okay, we cannot do this on our own. We need some help. And we hadn't moved yet. So yeah, Internet Academy was great. I ended up getting high school credit through that. It didn't really go very far because when I found out like, it didn't transfer. It transferred, but the amount of classes I would have had to take to like fulfill the high school portion was just ridiculous. So I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I'll just continue to be homeschooled. And then through that, I was also able to do Running Start, which in Washington State, we have, I think they have it in a few other states, probably call something different, but juniors and seniors, high school students can go to the community college and get their college credits also doubles as high school credit. So I ended up with a 2-year degree and no high school diploma, which was fine. And actually all my siblings, we all did that.
Okay.
So yeah, they really.
So y'all all finished your regular 18 years of school and with the associates, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that again, my parents were like, "What are we going to do?" Because being homeschooled, and other people who listen to this probably know it's the high school part can be tricky. Like, how do you that the students, that your kids are learning, that they know things, but it's so non-traditional. It doesn't quite fit in the system. So that was there back then when we didn't have the things that we have now. Like that was their, like, well, you can do Running Start. You'll get a 2-year degree. You'll have something. Then you can go to college or go to trade school or do whatever else you want to do. But so that's what we all do.
Like, I don't have a regular high school diploma, but I got this. Yes. I got this degree.
So that's what we did. And it paid off. And yeah, and actually that transition was, I think, because we were homeschooled and we had a lot of experiences with, other people in the community because field trips were smaller. So if we did a field trip, wherever we went, like to the dairy farm, that tells you kind of how local we were or rural we were. It was a very small group, one-on-one, and we learned how to talk to adults easier, and we already knew how to manage our schedules. So I was 17 when I ended up going to Running Start or community college. For me, that transition was really easy because it was kind of already what I was doing. And I was like, oh, I can take the science class and the science class. And then they're like, you also need to take some language arts class. But, so that was really, really beneficial. And then the socialization part for us, I felt that was, because my parents were not so much into like isolating us per se. It was more like they're trying to get us in the community. So we did have friends.
Your kid has music in them. They just need the right tools to let it out. Homeschool Beats Academy teaches kids ages 7 to 18 how to make real beats at home on their schedule, in their own style. No experience needed. Grab the complete First Beat Kit free at homebeatsacademy.com. That's homeschoolbeatsacademy.com.
And then Running Start, I had a whole bunch of more friends, which was great. So that, even the socialization piece was great. And then I also did get to play sports through the local high school and middle school. Nice. So I wasn't like completely isolated, but it was very non-traditional. I'll just put it that way. Very non-traditional. So yeah.
All right. So all this led to you saying, all right, I'm gonna make my way in this public school.
Yes.
I'm gonna be a special ed teacher.
Yes. So actually, that's so funny. So I wanted to be a doctor. That's what I had longed to do. And that just did not work out. Part of me is like, I think God just was like, no, you're not going to be a doctor. You're going to go into education. Because I love learning. I've always loved learning. But what happened was, so I actually, when I was 19, I had applied to school, got into all the schools I applied to, and I was living in Virginia Beach. And I needed a job, and they're like, "Oh, well, you have a peer degree."
I graduated.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I have relatives there, and I was there for a little bit because I was like, I'm going to go to school on the East Coast, so I'll stay there. But yeah, so I was a substitute teacher because I had a 2-year degree, and they're like, you can be a substitute teacher. So my first real time in a classroom, like a K-12 classroom, was as a substitute teacher at 19. And that's when I realized all my knowledge, my knowledge about school, public school, was what I learned from television and my friends. So I was probably like, looking back, I'm like, oh, it's probably so interesting watching me teach. But yeah, that was my first time in a classroom. And I said, wow, this is so interesting. And I felt really bad for the kids because I was like, oh, we have to really follow the schedule, but y'all aren't even ready to eat right now. Oh, we got to go to lunch now.
So elementary?
Elementary. And I was like, oh, you need to go play. And then I was like, oh, I can't take you outside to play because your recess is at, whatever time o'clock. And I was like, ooh. So that was a little stifling, but I love being with the kids and they were so eager to learn. So when I moved back, I ended up choosing a career for college or a degree in college. I kind of fell into special education because I was also working and going to school to pay for it. And I was working as a para when I moved back to Washington State, para educator in a special education classroom. And I really liked it. I was like, you know what? Oh, you guys have the freedom to actually learn at your own pace because, special education. So that's where I stayed and that's where I thrived really as a teacher. And that's kind of what led me into special education. I have taught general ed, and usually, again, my class is full of students who were either in the process of being evaluated or were evaluated. I'm like, no, I can take them. It's fine. So yeah, it's been a good career. So
how was your you're still in special education?
So right now, no, I'm actually an instructional coach. Okay. So I've kind of done a few different things, special education, preschool, elementary school, and I've taught some middle and high school. And then I took a little bit of a break from special education and did general ed, second grade, and then went back into special education preschool because early learning is huge. So one thing, my mom did have an early learning education degree, and that really played a huge role in how, the foundation. So early ed is dear to my heart as well. So with that degree, even though it's like she couldn't read well, which is I get it now. I totally get all the things that she struggled with. I know exactly why, even though she's like, yeah, I have a 2-year degree, but I don't do this well. I get it. Teaching in the system. I'm like, yep, that is so possible. Especially Black women, in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
So, she has that piece of paper, but she's like, she struggled with that. But anyway, but because of her, her experience in early education, I learned a lot and got to play, and it was very developmentally appropriate. Our childhood, my siblings and I. But with that, I also taught, one of my favorite things to teach or years of teaching was teaching middle school science. Loved it. So that was so fun. So I've kind of done a lot. And then now I'm an instructional coach. Because COVID changed the classroom so much. So
right.
Yeah.
That's when I had to exit stage.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah. So yes. I was like, oh. So yeah. So I will not be returning to the classroom in that form because it's changed a lot. So
how do you feel about the special education portion of public school? Because From my perspective, outside, well, general ed teacher looking in, y'all had a lot on your plates. Like, as far as it's like your caseloads were kind of kind of little
insane.
Unrealistic.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, it was very, so I'll speak. Yeah, it was hard. I will never go back to that. I love my students, but I will never go back to that. It was, there's a lot of freedom if you stay under the radar of admin, and not just admin, because I've had really great admin. I would say more the district, but it's a mess. Washington State has some great laws, but it doesn't always play out. And it's a fight. It was a fight every single day. So my last 2 years of teaching, that's a whole nother conversation. Oh man.
Yes, am I bringing up trauma?
There is.
I could tell by the pause. By the pause. Like, do I want to go there? Like, how can I say this nicely?
So that also spurred why I was like, you know what? I'm going to start something else. So I was like, I really need to, because that was another thing too, just families have pulled their students out and didn't necessarily have a place for them to land. And so, when they're like, oh, I guess I am, realize like they are homeschooling. I was like, oh, you need something. So I was like, you know what? I have some educators who had similar experiences who would love to have the freedom to teach. Yeah. So that's why I started Independent Education Network, really.
I was about to say, then we move on to Independent Education Network. Yeah. So give us more about that. What is Independent Education?
So in a nutshell, it's really just teachers being able to teach what students need. And kids being able to learn in an environment that suits them. And I'm just taking it off of my experience in middle school, my experience in the classroom, my experience as a teacher, the experience my students have had where I longed for them to have something that was a lot more just safe for them. And then also during the pandemic, as hard as that was, I will say a lot of the students did thrive with online education, which is, people are like, what? But a lot of them did, especially if the teachers were like in it and really, supportive. So there's that. And then also the parents appreciated it too, because they were able to actually sit in on a lesson and see what was being taught. Because typically, at least in my experience, teachers or parents aren't always encouraged to like be involved in their kids' education, which I always fought against, because I'm like, no, it's your child. Like, I am not their parent. You are. You can come into the classroom. So I was always like, yes, you can come in. Didn't always get the best reception from admin, but I was like, no, they're parents. So one thing I noticed with online during the pandemic, parents were a lot more involved, especially with the students that I taught, and they could be. And it was just like, oh, I didn't know that this is what was happening. And like, oh, I can help with that. Or, oh, this is what they're learning. Like, oh, so it was a lot more collaborative. So I wanted that to, actually happen. And then I have a few educator friends who I taught with who were looking for something different as well. And just said, this is not working. So when I floated the idea to them, they're like, oh, I would love to do that. Yes, that would be great. So we have 7 teachers lined up and just ready. And we're just going to keep growing from this little start. So
indeed. Okay. So are you going to do this nationally, or is this just Washington?
So it is nationally. And actually, one of the teachers I have is in Philadelphia, another one's in California. And so it's kind of whenever I meet a teacher who's kind of like my thing is I need to meet you in person. I need to get to know you. And if I feel it's a good fit and they feel it's a good fit, then I'll bring them on. But the other thing too is independent, because I want them to be able to teach independently. So they're independent contractors. And it's the way it's set up. I've also taught briefly for like some other organization, and it's like there's the clauses like, oh, you can't teach or you can't tutor the student, for so long after working with us. And I was like, I don't want that. Like, you are the teacher. If a family fits and you want to work with them directly, fine. I want them to be able to do that. So yeah, it's independent on both sides, and great environment for the kids to learn. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So it's national. Yeah.
Okay, so it's set up because one, I need to like refer some people to you because I've had some people. That's why I was asking. Level because I have some former educators who have reached out and like, I want to know about starting a micro school. I want to know about helping parents, or they're trying to figure out where they can fit in. And it's like I don't have a micro school yet. I don't have that type of network yet. So let me
please do. Yes, please do.
Okay, so families reach out to or access your website, and they tell you what they're looking for, or what they need rather, and then you match them with the educator.
Yeah, and so
choose the educator.
So right now it's going to be we match because we only have 7 teachers now.
Yeah,
and we have We have geography, math, ELA, history, sewing. And then this summer, this fall, I'm hoping to add a instructor for theater, which that was not my passion. So I'm like, that's a new thing. I'm like, I'm learning theater, and then also mediation / restorative justice. I met a woman who teaches that and has content for middle schoolers. I was like, if I had kids, I would love for them to take this. So yeah, it's kind of what the teacher feels passionate about teaching. And then right now, those are the classes we have. We have a few different types for we have 2 teachers for ELA and 2 teachers for math, and families can choose who they want to work with depending on the time. But in the future, I hope to be able to match everyone, and so it'll be a good fit for everyone. So as we grow, that's the goal.
That's really cool. I love this. Because I'm about to really be referring a lot of people to you. But we didn't get to talk when I was in Washington.
We didn't. No. Yes, I wanted to, but it was a lot. But I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that to Washington. I was like,
I still have your raffle prizes, and now I'm like, okay.
I kind of hesitated a little bit, but yes. So yeah.
I was going to say, should I use them at another expo?
You can. Yes, please do. Yeah. So I also do consulting, and that's outside of Independent Education Network, which was the raffle prize. So yeah, feel free to refer them to and use them at another fair. So
okay. So you do education consulting?
I do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does that look like?
Yeah. So typically parents have come to me, if they have exhausted all resources to especially student or families who have children with special education needs, and just like, how do I teach? What do I do? What are some ways? And I work with them to figure out how to get to the next goal, pull in other resources. Sometimes I have a few more resources than they may not have known about. The other thing I help with is just curriculum planning for the whole year. So just working that. And I remember that really comes from my mom. Again, a lot of this comes from my experience and just watching my mom struggle. She was like, it was just so hard for me to like block out the whole year, especially when you have it was a little easier when it was just me and my brother. But like after, all 5 of us, it was kind of hard to block out the whole year, even a quarter. And I come in and just help with that. And sometimes it's just taking inventory of where their kids are at currently, and then I can do that work and say, give it to the parents, and we tweak it together. And sometimes that's all they need. It's like, that's a lot easier, because it's hard when you're right in it, trying to. And I just also remember as being a teacher, trying to do that part and teach and cook and clean and make sure that everyone, gets all their other activities and do all the other stuff and chores. It's hard. So I was like, I can do that part. So that's also what I do with families too. And then sometimes I'll also refer them to people I know if they need like one-on-one tutoring. Sometimes I'll do it. That's sometimes, but usually I refer out to other people.
Okay.
So but it's kind of, I try and fit what they need. I try and help with whatever it is they need. So again, it is tailored to the family. So.
Girl, Ruth, we are about to be BFFs, honey. You are an amazing asset. Yes, with you being a formal homeschooler yourself, as far as going girl, everybody's gonna want to talk to you. Like these parents, because they want to. First of all, they want to see the success. They want to know the success stories. They want to know. They want to know. Like, okay, is this possible? Because, like you said earlier, I think the high school portion is what causes a lot of parents to be like, you know what? I don't know about this. Because I had a parent recently ask, "Can homeschoolers get scholarships?" And I was like, "Girl, yes, colleges love.
They really
love homeschoolers."
Yeah, I think that's still, even now, working with families, a misconception. Like, no, colleges, universities, you say homeschooled, they really are like, great, perfect. We know that you can do the work. We know that you can figure it out. There's not going to be as much hand holding. Like, you can do this. So, and I think there's a misconception there, because it's just, and maybe not misconception, but I think it's just not widely known. Like, no. Yes, it is. They'll take you. They will.
Yes. Yeah. And then the hand-holding part, as far as the curriculum producing and just making and helping them create a plan. Girl, but girl, I'm about to tell. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because I didn't get to dive into all that you did. Now that I know, it's like, oh yes, girl, I got to start including you on these emails that I get. Yes. Because this is amazing. This is what parents need. They just need to support. That's what it's all about, and that's the point of this platform, is to introduce parents to the support that's out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it is out there. Yes. No.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your platform too. I told my mom about it, and she's like, "Oh, I would have loved this back in the day." So thank you.
But I want to talk to your mom.
She is. Yeah, she really is. I'll tell her.
Yes. Let's talk about a little revolutionary.
Yes.
Like
she was.
Don't even realize what she was doing back then. Like, that's amazing. Especially with the education you said that she wasn't even confident in.
She was not, but she's
amazing.
She did it. She really is. So we're all very thankful. Yeah. And like I said, my siblings, they're all successful. I have a brother who's an engineer, aerospace engineer. Another one, she's an artist, but she has a tech background. And then another one was in podcasting, journalism. And then my youngest brother, he's he's linguistic degree, fluent in 3 languages. So there you go. But and we're all homeschooled. So, it is possible. It really is.
Are any of y'all homeschooling? Any of y'all plan to homeschool?
Yeah, I never thought, when I was younger, even up into my 20s, I was like, I'm never going to homeschool my kids or homeschool. And then I think being a teacher, I was like, oh no. I don't know if I can do this. Just, the thing, you were a former teacher, so no. Yeah, I will be homeschooling. And talking to my sisters now too, they're like, yeah, it's going to be homeschooling. Because I did have another teacher one of my sisters, she had worked briefly as a teacher's assistant. It was like, oh, wow, I was like, I think when you're able to really learn at your own pace, and that's your background, you want that for your kids. So right now I haven't found the public institution that can do that. So yes, I will be homeschooling.
Right. I was in my early 20s, not a child in sight. I was telling people, I'm homeschooling my kids.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm homeschooling my kids. Yeah. I had never known anyone that was homeschooled. I did not.
Okay.
I just knew that I did not want my babies in.
Yes.
I just knew that. It's like my imaginary babies cannot come to y'all school.
I just remember that's similar to me, even in, because I went through college, and I just remember thinking, I wouldn't let any of my kids be in your class. And I was like, these are my peers. These are my, people who are learning how to teach alongside me. And I was like, no, I can't do it. So, and even now I'm like, there's maybe 1 or 2 teachers who are actually now looking at an independent education network who I was like, oh, my kid can be in your class. And now I'm like, okay. They're like, yes, we'll do this. So that kind of tells you something too. But yeah, it's an interesting, yeah. So
yeah, right.
That's a whole nother story,
right.
But yes.
Right. I know. And I try to tread lightly too, because I don't want to ever make it seem like I'm downing a system that people, like the majority is a part of, or making people feel like, if my child is here, I'm doing something wrong. It's no, just be hands on. Like understand that your child needs you there. Like they need you. And that's where the Homeschool Yo Kids is. I'm talking to everybody. It's not, you should be supplementing your child's education, especially. Don't you think it's ironic? And I always talk about the irony of a parent feeling ill-equipped to homeschool their kid because they went to public school.
I know. That is so common and so strange. And when you actually lay it out, it's like, oh, this actually makes no sense. I'm like,
so really you want to send your child to that same school that did not equip you. You're going to go ahead and send them there so that they can get that same education.
Yep.
And, it hasn't gone and hasn't elevated anywhere. It hasn't evolved. It hasn't done anything.
I think that was also the hard part for me. Well, I shouldn't say hard. It was more of like, okay, my mom would tell me stories about things that were happening when she was in school. And, she's in her 70s now. And this is back when, 60s, 50s. And I was like, the same things are still happening. This is not good. This is not good at all. My mom should not be telling me the same things that I'm experiencing as a teacher and trying to, I spend a lot of time in the classroom and in the schools as a buffer for the kids. Like, I shouldn't have to buffer this. Like, it's over 40 years later. Things should be different. They're not. So, that's just the truth. They're not.
No. So, and it's funny that you say you went there with a TV.
Yes.
Like what you think, because that's what my 12-year-old, she stopped now, but not recently, but when we first moved to Arizona from Virginia, and we were homeschooling, and first 2 years, she would always talk about, I want to go to public school for high school. I want to go and be the leader of my pack.
Right. Yes.
I want to be a leader of my crew, and I want to go and da-da-da. And I'm like, girl, you do know that is not school.
I mean, I totally see where she's coming from, because that's what I thought.
Right. I'm about to go have this clique, and we about to walk the hallways and look cute. Like, girl, no, that's not it.
Yep. I know where she's coming from.
Right. And that's why I always ask people and anyone who has homeschooled their kids from K-12, like, did your child want to ever go to school? Because I know, she's out of it now, because I told her, I'll host you a prom. We'll throw a graduation. Right. Anything you, tell me what it is that you're looking for besides that clique that you're trying to lead and be mean girls with. What else can I get to you to make you understand you don't need that system, love? So we on the same page now, though.
Yes,
so we good.
That's good.
Yeah, it took a little bit. It took a little bit, because television is very misleading regards to
it really is
what you think you're about to receive. And no,
it really is
not at all. This is
no.
No.
Yeah.
And my time in the classroom, because I am a public school graduate.
Right.
Girl, I slept through high school. I didn't. I had checked out. I checked out 8th grade. I was over school for real. Then I messed around and read Sister Soldier, no disrespect, and learned about systems at 12. And I was a lost cause. I was a rebel without a cause at that time. Yeah. I was rebelling, but I couldn't explain why I was rebelling.
Right. Yeah, I see a lot of that too with some of my students, and I was just like, I would tell them you see it. There isn't quite an alternative for you yet, but yes, what you're feeling is true. Yeah.
It's a lot, but I love the direction we're heading in. I love the resources that are being created. I love the people who are building the organizations, the networks, just the support that parents are seeking to understand, baby, if this isn't working for you, you could do something else.
Yes.
If this is not working for your child, you could find something else that will work for them. Because learning at our own pace is the biggest thing. I think that's one of my first things I say on my little about page. We do not all learn at the pace. We do not all learn like in the same way. We're individuals for a reason. Yeah. Like, yes, we are the same species, we are the same beings, but we are all different souls. Yeah. We are all different, like just different. We're different, and we should be treated as such. So
which the school system isn't quite there yet. So,
but the alternatives are. So I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for them. 2 more questions before I let you go, Ruth. One, with all that you do and all that you have created and your hands still being on the, educating and all that great things, how do you self-care? How do you make sure you take care of you?
I sleep when I can. I shouldn't say I can't. No, I sleep. Sleep is a huge, huge thing for me. So I do get that, 8-9 hours of sleep. So I go to bed early. And then also I spend time with friends. I make that a priority to spend time with friends and family. And then we also travel. My husband and I also travel a lot. So I like to learn and see and build community. So I surround myself with more people and have great conversations. So that's my self-care. Yeah. And make sure I get that sleep. So that is.
Make sure I get that sleep.
Yes.
That's my first thing.
That's a big one. So.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. And if our listeners didn't hear anything else during this whole conversation, so what is 3 things you want them to take away from this? What's 3 things you want them to leave with?
Well, first is parents, you are your child's first teacher. You know what they need, and you have everything in you to give them what they need. So don't ever second guess yourself. Just, you have it. You really do. You really, really do. And then 2, kids, they're all unique. They're all different and they learn things at different rates, and just lean into that. And then 3, have fun. Learning is a journey, but it's also it's amazing. Learning is so fun. I love learning. Everyone. I've never met anyone who doesn't love learning. So just embrace that. And just remember, you learn at your own pace. Everyone, even adults, learn at our own pace. So those are the 3 things. Yes.
Nice. Yes. Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you for the system that you created, girl. We about to get you full up. You about to go from 70 to about 100 teachers. Okay.
Wonderful.
7 from 7 to 100. Yeah, no, we definitely gonna get that network flowing. Because you are what parents are seeking. That's the first thing they say. Well, can you teach my kids? I'm like, well, I can't.
Yes,
I can't. But
yes. Oh, thank you.
Yes. So yes, no, I appreciate you, parents, listeners. Understand. Resources are available. The support is there. This is not a journey you have to take alone, so don't try to handle it all by yourself. You don't have to be well versed in it all. I say that you just need to know how to find the resources that are needed. Okay? Just know how to find them. But know that the support is there. So definitely reach out to Independent Education Network. All her links will be available in the description. And you know my thing, Homeschool Yo Kids.
Yes. Thank you, Jay.